You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Well, welcome to another Workshop Wednesday, all about casual conversations for serious workflows, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where it's all about learning QuickBooks your way, because you always got to keep learning, Rachel.
Yes. even if you don't want to, you just have to.
I can't imagine what what tax preparers have to feel like every time that there's a new change to the tax code. They got to learn all those things to make sure that their clients are best served. But we have those, it's par for the course. That's why they have CPE and YE at School of Bookkeeping. Do that with Earmark. I'm just looking for the QR code in case you need CPE and continuing education, and School of Bookkeeping isn't enough for you. You want something a little official, you can get some CPE credit over at Earmark. We have a whole channel there of our prior workshops. So oops, no, not that. Meant to hide it. Oh, let me just leave it up there just in case. And part of the challenges of doing a live webinar is things have to be working when you do the live webinar. So our blog is right now. So any of the articles that I was about to share are not available, but they should be shortly, because I was just refreshing during the intro and the page is, it's back up.
Okay, good. Yeah, that was so weird. I don't know why that would have been down.
Yeah.
Somebody tripped over a cord, obviously.
Yes, they forgot to feed the hamsters. They forgot something. But now our blog is, but I'm not ready with the links. Always a fun-filled excitement on the workshop. So today we're going to be talking, actually, last week we talked about some of the updates in the payroll system. I sadly had to do it solo because
I know. Oh my goodness gracious. See, part of the issue is that I also implement software, which requires constant education and learning and training. And it's just, sometimes I want to hit my head against the wall, but I was also in Pacific time and everything got backwards, and I'll use the generic excuse of there was confusion. I love it when people say that to me, as opposed to I screwed it up. But there was confusion. No, I'm just kidding. I screwed up my time. So I apologize for that one.
No problem. It was short because we didn't have our normal banter back and forth.
Yeah. This topic is something that I really want to talk about, because just for accountants and firm owners, and I know that there's the audience is business owners, but also accountants and bookkeepers and firm owners that are servicing lots of different clients. And this is something that has become such a big issue, is the payments and approvals and the things that we're going to talk about today, that honestly, it's just so necessary, especially in this world that we're dealing with fraud that happens. It really does. So I'm looking forward to talking about this.
Yeah. So we're encapsulating all of the things that QuickBooks payments, the receiving of funds, and the bill payments, the sending of funds, is like a quarterly update, because they make these incremental changes every month. So after 3 months or so, there's actually quite a bit of things to talk about.
Yeah.
As far as the QuickBooks payment side of things, the receiving of funds, there have been a couple small updates that we wanted to talk about here.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's do, because those are something that I don't really use QuickBooks payments a lot. I used to a ton. Now
mhm.
I'm using outside stuff, mainly
Is
stuff
now
with proposal
now so
software,
let's
but I know a lot of people use QuickBooks payments, so it's super relevant.
so talk about that shift for you. Before, it was something that you really appreciated and brought in, encouraged or recommended to your clients. Is it just the types of clients it doesn't really make a fit for?
You know what?
Something
I will
about the
tell you,
payments.
I'll tell you what, if, and this is something that I see QuickBooks adding, because they seem to be adding everything but the kitchen sink, is that if they were able to bring in a means of creating a proposal and adding the QuickBooks payments to that, and actually, let me rewind. I used to use a proposal app in which you could embed QuickBooks payments. So as long as you can do that, that's fantastic. I love that.
Mhm.
But I see QuickBooks adding in the other way. I see them adding in their own proposal maker or
Mhm.
generator or something like that, in which you can send out, at the very least, something for a client to sign. Maybe you can then add in your own proposal, and then you could embed QuickBooks payments
Yeah.
within that for a lot of different benefits: to create the invoice, to automatically create the payment, and then collect the funds, and then have it recurring. So that, if they had, that would be something that would be fantastic. I think as of now, you can only embed or integrate QuickBooks payments into something like PandaDoc, which is what I used to do, and then you can utilize that recurring payment, which is very important. I now use something, because my needs are, I have a more complex proposal software that I need to use.
Mhm.
So it has its own payment method, and then it sends it to QuickBooks. And I tend to use something a little more complex and integrate all the things. That's just my preference, the way I like to
What
do it. But I'll
what
tell
is
you
the
what,
limitation within QuickBooks that you're finding?
yes,
Is it
so it's
just
a limitation within QuickBooks. Like, it's not enough to just send them the invoice and make it recurring, or have a recurring sales receipt. It's not robust enough. So that would be something that I would welcome them. And I
yeah.
honestly, I see them doing that. I really do.
Yeah,
Down the road.
what is it, is it like engagement letters or
Yes.
those types of things that you need to send along with your
Yes.
your
Yeah. And I
transaction?
mean, even for some people listening, they may need something even super simple. Just, I agree to do, let's say if they're a business owner and they're needing to send out an agreement with one of their clients, let's say for landscaping, it's Craig's landscaper, and you're Craig's landscaper and you need to send out an agreement to somebody, and it's really a more formal ACH authorization form or something like that, in which you need to maybe put in some written terms and services, and I agree to mow your lawn once a week and yard cleanup once a fall, and that kind of stuff. People want to be able to add those things in there, and that would be something, and that could be something very simple. And so I think that would be very helpful
Yeah. I
for the
think
collecting payment side of things.
right. Yeah. QuickBooks has always been, I guess the nicest way to say it is, the shallow end of the pool when it
Yes.
comes to sales workflows, right?
Yes.
And I am seeing the additions that they're making with the customer hub, the
Yeah,
leads, proposals, those types of things. I think that's ultimately probably in the next year we'll
I
see.
do. Yeah, I
You know,
agree. I anticipate them doing that. And for people that just really need something pretty
right.
simple, and that services a lot of people. that a lot of people don't need something very complex. And so that would be fantastic.
So I do have the Firm of the Future article because their blog is up. so we can talk about that. So now you can take deposits on estimates with QuickBooks Online payments. So now when somebody sends a non-posting document, that proposal that you're talking about, but you're limited to the only thing that you can see inside the estimate, right?
Yeah.
Those features and functions. So if you have a supplemental engagement letter that they need to sign, that's not going to be something that you can attach it and you can send it as an attachment, but they can't do anything with that document, sign it, fill out a form, or do anything like that. So that's, I think, the workflows that you're talking about that are missing.
Yeah. And where I see that being very helpful is in field services, which is not my forte, but just that whole process with those guys, it can be very clunky.
Right.
And I think they would really benefit from something that is signable, some type of, even if it's they merge with DocuSign or do some kind of something where they can sign it, take that deposit right at that moment of agreement, and then they have everything in one fell swoop.
Yeah, and through the mobile app and also the sending of estimates through QuickBooks, you can accept, the customer can accept it and they can sign it, right? So you do have some rudimentary options for that. But again, it's really for those, you're in front of the customer and you're doing it right then.
Yeah.
But if you're in the type of business that you need to, like a fire remediation, right? Say the house, they've gone water damage or something like that, and they've gone in and they take the measurements of the room and they actually need to recalculate a few things where you're going back to the office before you send out that quote. That's
which happens
more
all the time.
Yeah, that's something a little bit more robust than what you're going to get out of QuickBooks. But if you're just like, okay, we've got maybe your house cleaning or landscaping or something like that, of simple jobs of these are the regular maintenance, and you can just add your items, put in a little bit of detail about them, or use your stock items that you have. Okay, I'm doing mowing and the description is fine. I don't have to change too much about it. You're able to create that estimate, send it out, or email it to the customer, or if you're in front of them, here's the estimate. Go ahead and approve. I approve this in front of the customer, and they sign it, and it's done.
Yeah, right? And you know what's even funny too is even doing that. I recently had an electrician come, and I can't even tell you how like it was the Flintstones the way that they were doing it. It was so ridiculous, and the guy had to call in to his owner at the location, physically tell him the credit card number over the phone, and then the guy there had to key it into his thing. It was so ridiculous and outdated that even this process, which like I would probably consider just too simple, is fantastic for guys like this and gals.
Yeah.
That's
of
really,
getting out
really
of the shoebox.
What they have.
Just getting out of the shoebox is.
I know, and I explained that to them. I said, you could be using QuickBooks even on you bring a tablet or your phone or something like that and create the estimate right there. And they were just like, oh no, the guy's really old school. And I was just like, okay, good luck.
Now, I guess I have so it brought up something, right? And I think a lot of people don't take credit cards. Like they don't want to take credit cards because they don't want to incur the fee that comes along with it. And I see a lot of people passing that fee along to their customers.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm thinking is maybe our topic du jour. Which side of the fence do you land on when you see that convenience fee, right? There's a little piece of paper by the register. There's a 3% transaction fee or convenience fee for using a credit card, because they see that as that's an extra expense to me.
Yeah.
And I would prefer cash or check or some other form of payment, and I'm going to prefer that over that, and I'm going to charge my customers who prefer to use their credit card, I'm going to charge them their fee for doing that. What's your thought about that whole passing on the transaction fee to your customer?
I think that, first of all, there's a lot of misinformation out there. It's not illegal. I actually did research and I wrote an article about it. It is legal. What it is illegal to do is mark it up and earn a profit on it. You are allowed to pass just the value of the fee onto them. Mm-hmm. And most people, and I recommend, call it a convenience fee or an administrative fee or something like that. And a lot of people, they feel that they have to put a line item as that. But for my customers, I usually tell them, just bake it into the price. Yeah. And then it's not that obvious what you're doing. Now, in QuickBooks payments, you can disable that, which oftentimes I do, unless I have a customer that really says that they need to pay with credit card, then, and it's a very high amount, then I'll eat the fee just because it's just more of a, what's the word I'm thinking of? If it's a customer I have a very good rapport with and we have a very good working relationship, then I'll do it. But I understand that, let's say nail salon, right? And they're charging $20 to $40 a service, and people are, because this is something that I see all the time because I go into a nail salon a lot, and a lot of times they'll say they're going to add on a convenience fee if you use your credit card. And so oftentimes I'll pay cash or I'll use Venmo, because a lot of them take Venmo now, which is great. But I don't have a problem with it because I understand that it's legal and I understand that it's costly and it erases important profit from their bottom line. So I understand the reasoning, and if I don't want to pay that, then I'll pay by ACH or I'll pay by cash if it's a store like a nail salon. So I usually try and pay by ACH because oftentimes they max out at 1% for the fee. And most business owners that are using some kind of merchant service like QuickBooks Payments understand most people have to pay with some kind of card. And so if they use a debit card, at least the fee is lower. And oftentimes and I think this is the case with the QuickBooks Payments too, it's usually 1% or capped at X amount per transaction. So that just is the way it is. And if you pay by credit card or if you're collecting payments by credit card, it's a much higher risk. So the fee is higher. So it's just the way it is. I don't have an opinion on the matter at all. It's either if I want to pay it, I'll pay it. If I don't want to pay it, I'll use something else.
Like, I use the mindset of, hey, like you mentioned it, mark up your fees to incorporate that cost. And then if you still want to entice people to pay with cash or credit card, give them a 3% discount on the by if you're going to pay with cash, use this. But you're absorbing it. You ultimately have to set your prices to maintain your margin. And I totally get, you're getting hit with a fee just the way the payment method was made. So of course that's eating into your margin. So you want to maintain that margin by passing that fee along off to your customer. But it's not just a convenience fee to your customer. It's also a convenience fee for you as a business owner, because especially with all the things that QuickBooks Payments does, right? Like I just set up a customer with QuickBooks Payments, and they emailed their invoice, and then they called me after they made the pay, after it was received, and they said, "Okay, what do I do in QuickBooks?" I said, "How about nothing?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
your payment is recorded. The
Yeah,
deposit is made into the bank automatically in
right.
reality, and not, and in your QuickBooks, and it's marked as reconciled, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
so
actually,
once,
they do what they have to do. One thing, they have to sit there and wait for the match in the bank feed, and then
yeah,
hit match.
yeah,
Actually, no. In some situations, it'll auto match. Right? So
exactly.
yeah, I am the same way. Certain things are not just free. You have to pay
Yeah,
for the service, and that's just the way it is. You are paying for the convenience, but I also feel like it depends on the business. Like if at your brick and mortar store and you're taking credit card, you don't have a choice. If you want
right,
foot traffic through the door,
right,
you're going to have to eat that credit card fee. And so therefore you really do have to add on the convenience fee if you don't want it eating into your profit. If you're I don't know, let's say you're a web developer and you're sending out an invoice like that, you can embed that fee in a little bit
yeah,
more. And you can also have a little bit more freedom to say in QuickBooks payments, you know what, I don't even accept credit cards, turn that off.
right.
And it really just depends on your level of expertise. If you're a sought after whatever it is professional that you do, you can say you have a little bit more leverage to say, no, I'm not even going to accept credit cards. So we're not even going to be dealing with that. So
Right.
there's a lot of moving parts in there and that kind
Definitely,
of make up
yes.
those
There's
decisions.
definitely things to consider. I
Yeah.
just personally, when I see that on a receipt or a sign at the store, it just seems like, okay, I'm just gonna pass that thing along. It tells me, or what it says to me, whether it's true or not, is that they don't have enough handle on their expenses to include that as part of their pricing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So they
Or
haven't set their
if I
prices.
have a customer that is insisting on paying by credit card, like the
Hmm.
other direction, then it's usually a red flag to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, you can only pay these things by credit card? I don't know.
Mhm.
There's all kinds of different things you can infer from
Yeah.
credit card use.
Yeah. And then businesses who prefer Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal to friends and family so that they avoid the fees, but they get the benefit of electronic funds deposit.
Don't
So,
like that.
yeah, that's actually a violation of the terms of
It
service.
is. It's not
you know,
actually. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
even though,
that rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it when people do that, and I always feel compelled to give them a lecture, which I'm
yeah,
sure they don't love.
you don't want Rachel's wag of her finger because it's all right. So we got off topic there, but talking a little bit about that. But I thought it was worthwhile mentioning.
Yeah, and I wish I actually had the article that I wrote, but I can share it next
Yeah,
time.
we'll put
I
that
have
in
it.
the we'll put it in
Yeah,
the
I've got the
comments.
link somewhere, but I can share it because there is actually a lot of confusion about that. A lot of people will say, "Isn't that illegal?" Nope, not illegal.
Yeah. So in QuickBooks now, of course, these agents are making their way
Oh, those
in,
agents.
into the thing. One thing that all versions higher than Simple Start have is a payments agent, which is essentially a giving you, the hope is that giving you insights as to getting paid faster, right? Because the faster you get paid, the better your cash flow situation is going to be, right? Using QuickBooks payments, when you get paid and after you've gone through the initial review period of your deposits, making sure the funds get deposited properly, they put you on next day, right?
Yep.
So you're going to get your funds in a day. And if decide to make your deposit account the QuickBooks checking account, those funds are actually available that day, right? And you avoid the fees associated with getting instant deposits.
Yeah.
That really can be a big help in the cash flow situation when you are using QuickBooks Payments, because typically the funding delay is 2-3 days at best for getting those. And then if you want to get it faster, then there's a fee associated with that.
Mhm.
That's spending another 1% in order to get those funds
Yeah.
faster.
Because they're
So
dealing with the gatekeeping of the outside bank.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the payments agent is going to be there to monitor your payments situation and guide you, or offer suggestions. I guess I should say that. Offer suggestions based on history. Like I was in a file the other day, I think it was my own, and it said, hey, this customer hasn't paid you on time. Maybe you might want to turn on late fees. So those types of things where it sees the history of the customer and their payment history and suggests a feature or setting that maybe you're not aware of that might facilitate that, right? Now, in the grand scheme of things, this customer wasn't something that needed late payments turned on, but so it was a bad suggestion.
But
At
I
least,
mean, it could be a good one, and I like that
yeah,
because I have a lot of things going on and can be very forgetful. So
right.
that
Yeah,
that's a good thing, I think.
yeah. This particular situation didn't warrant late fees, but because of it, it's not looking. It was confidently wrong, saying saying that, hey, you should turn on late fees because this customer doesn't pay you on time. There was something outside of I send them an invoice and they pay it, different than the way things that were occurring. But it brought to my attention, oh yeah, there's a late payment, there's late fees, a setting and preference inside of QuickBooks that might be useful for those types of things. Because if somebody is habitually paying you late based on your terms and those types of things, they are stealing money from you, right? Like,
Yep.
because you can't predict your cash flow situation if your terms are not being followed. This
Yep.
is now a conversation that you need to have with your customer. Hey, we either need to change your terms or we need to change the terms from us, that if you're not paying on time, there's going to be a consequence of that.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one of the features of the payments agent. Other things that it does is, as soon as you put a customer on an invoice, it will give you a little insights into some of the history over on the left side. It will give you some of the history, let you know, hey, do they pay on time normally? Those types of things. And then also allow you to word your emails in using AI a little bit differently, so you can continue being human in the relationship on a digital method. Whether that's so you can change the tone, especially if you have a good relationship with the customer, you don't want to be so sterile. And it words it in it's empathetic verbiage, right? Right.
Thank goodness, because you know what? I'm not very good at that. I'm like, hey, pay this invoice now. That's
Right.
one thing I love AI for.
Yeah.
It's because I'm so busy. I don't have the time.
So instead of it saying the sterile invoice from net deposited,
Yeah.
it says payment request. Um,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Hey, it would be really great if you wouldn't mind. No, I'm just kidding.
and it's the same thing as seeing those signs that say "keep off the grass,"
Yeah.
instead of it saying, we enjoy your dogs as much as you do, stuff
Yes.
like that.
Yes. The less
Really, what they're
authoritarian.
saying is police your
Yes.
dog. So you can take payments or deposits on estimates, and I was seeing Alicia Katz-Pollock, she was talking about that it's actually now going to a liability account because
I was just going to ask that. I was going to say, is there an ability to map that to the appropriate account?
Yes. So
unearned
deposits,
revenue would be
right? Your unearned revenue, which is technically a liability account, just because it's money you received doesn't mean it's revenue. So they're able to do that now. So the other thing that we want to talk.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome, because that's another lecture that I often give to my contractors that come to my house. I'm like, this is not revenue. This is a prepayment. Make sure you record that exactly. Right. They're like, who is this lady? She's crazy.
Okay, there was something in here about bill pay, and I guess it's not on this one. So I'm going to turn this off. In QuickBooks Bill Pay, when you're using Advanced, you do have the option to set up approvers, bill payment approvers.
Yes.
So one of the newer features of QuickBooks Bill Pay is auto approving the funds transfer. So you can set up, when you're setting up workflows, you can have multiple yes, no, basically a flow chart. And as long as those right criteria are met, you can have the, let me turn this off here.
For example, if expense is this vendor, automatically approved, or under $250, automatically approved.
Yeah, and that's different. Before they had that with bills and purchase orders as far as an approval process, but now this is taking it to the actual payment request, right? Yes. So if it's a certain criteria, automatically pay the bill, right? So that will help with the cash flow situation, because you should be able to specify the due date as the actual payment date. So you keep your money a little longer and you're paying it when you have to, as opposed to, okay, now that the payment's approved, what happens? You still would need to go in under this condition. You would still need to go into the pay bills and schedule the payment. So you can set this up so that it will automatically do that. But that's also things to keep in mind. Sometimes we've seen a lot of issues, and we talked about the login vulnerability of accountants. And now that there is actual real money movement happening, it's just something to be a little bit more cognizant of when you're working with your clients. And now, when you set up a new QBO company, I'm gonna demonstrate this here. So let me just share my screen again, and we go here. I'm just gonna go into QBO. I'll get this stuff out of here. Yes, go on now. So if I add a new client, all right, we're just going to call this a bill pay test here. Got to put in an email address. Put my email. Spelled it right, yes. And we're going to add a subscription. I'm just going to choose a trial in the direct discount days here. But let's just choose advanced, because that's top on the list. When I go next here, then it asks for setting up payroll and time, right? So whether I'm going to add payroll and time or not. And this part here is newish, bill pay and payments, right? Who should we bill for bill pay? So now you can split the billing. So if it's firm billing, you're able to set it to the customer so that they pay for their bill pay service, or you can incorporate it into your ProAdvisor preferred pricing, where it's firm billed, and then mark up your services, just like we're talking about with the convenience fees.
Yeah, and let me ask you a question really quick, because I was just gonna say, scroll down, because I just got a brand new client and we're talking about this. this is what I was explaining to them, and I just wanted to make sure I was correct. So there is a basic that there is no fee, but the more premium ones, you get more features.
Right. Yes. So you get, so the bill pay basic, and this is what we want to talk about. The bill pay basic is included with QuickBooks, and it's fine because there's no charge if they don't use it. And even if they do use it, they get 5 ACH payments for free. And then there would be fees if they exceed that. And there's no way to unselect it. So
okay. And for a lot of people, this is just fine because
it's right. It's totally fine. And then you can also
buy credit card and stuff like on auto pay. So sometimes they don't have a lot of bills. So this is just fine.
Yeah, and then you can add select payments to be added. And the nice part about doing it through here is that it gives them the Pro Advisor discounts on those fees. So instead of it being 2.99 for cards and digital wallets, it's 2.8%.
Yeah, this is so nice, by the way. This
a little bit.
They can add these things now. It used to be so difficult.
Right. Now, we're just, so with the bill pay basic, right, there's no way to unselect it. It is included.
They just have it.
There's no choice. You don't have any choice in the matter. And regardless of whether they set it up you set it up as the accountant, or if they go through QuickBooks.com and sign it up, they'll get bill pay basic regardless.
Yeah.
So it's impossible not to. It's
that yellow thing say, I can't read because I'm blind. Does it say included with QuickBooks?
Yeah, it says included.
If they can't understand that, then.
So I'm going to select here to make me the primary admin because I want to. Oops, stop it. So I want to show or demonstrate what happens, right? So after this, right? So the bill pay test was added to your clients list. That's the name of the company, and so this is a summary of what they get, the products and services. So QuickBooks Advanced and the QuickBooks Bill Pay Basic client action needed. So basically, the client still needs to go through and put in their bank account, make sure their business address is accurate and whatnot. And then here it says, what happens next? We'll email your client and invite them to join QuickBooks and subscribe to the bill pay plan that you've selected at the discounted rate. You can also share the link with your client so that they can access the discount. Right now, because we chose basic, it's free, so there is no discount to begin with. Once the client completes the application and is approved, they can start paying their bills directly in QuickBooks. And then there's a place to share, copy the shareable link. I'm just going to hit done here. All right. And let's just see. Whoops. Go over. Oh. Yeah. Trying to get my. Stop it. Enjoy this. Watch Dan struggle at the workshop. Let's see. Did it show up yet?
You might have to refresh.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Oh.
There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'll bring the email over here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So we talked about this yesterday on the QB Power Hour, and it said your accountant invites you to fill it, to complete a QuickBooks bill pay. So now this is kudos to Intuit for listening to feedback, because accountants don't always recommend, or they're not inviting you to do these things. This is actually Intuit inviting them on the accountant's behalf. So the last time I did this was, I think, last week, and I got it, and it said, your accountant invites you to activate QuickBooks Bill Pay, which is not true. I did not want to invite them.
Oh, okay. So are you saying they changed that in a week?
Yeah. So the verbiage of this email has been changed. Then last week. Now, the week before that, it actually personalized the email and said, Dan DeLong recommends that you set up QuickBooks Bill Pay, which that was definitely overreaching,
Yeah.
to say the least. And then they softened it a little bit by saying your accountant invites you, but still, I think the community as a whole did not approve of Intuit leveraging the accountant's name
Yeah.
in doing that. So now it's just fill in your info to activate QuickBooks Bill Pay. So kudos to Intuit for listening to the feedback, for one, and making the change to be able to word it correctly in the circumstance. Good news there is that they do listen to feedback, which is good. The bad news is that they have something to provide feedback on.
Yeah, it just seems okay. Now you want to involve us accountants and things, and with other situations they don't.
Yeah. So that is some of the new things that are with QuickBooks bill payments and QuickBooks payments itself. And we have a chooser, actually not a chooser, but we have a blog article that I was going to share, but I wasn't prepared to be able to do that because our blog was down. But we have choosing the right QuickBooks, or I'm sorry, the right bill payment service for your QuickBooks, because it doesn't necessarily, just because it's QuickBooks doesn't mean that QuickBooks Bill Pay is the right solution.
Yeah, although I want to take a second look at some of the top one was called Elite, and then the middle one was called what?
Premium.
Because this is all relatively newish, and we've typically used an outside service, but I'm liking the keeping everything under, for security reasons, under the Intuit umbrella. I'm now seeing some benefits in that, and so I'm very interested in potentially using QBO Bill Pay for more clients, and maybe even myself.
The biggest gripe I have about it is the OCR, is the optical character recognition solution, right? Because when most of these bill pay services will have an option to forward your email, forward the PDF, or take the PDF and upload it, and it will scrape the data off of the document and pre-fill some of that in for you. It is very shallow end of the pool inside of QuickBooks. If you are looking for something to be able to split out line items, QuickBooks Bill Pay is not going to help.
It doesn't allow you to split items?
It does allow you to split items, but it will summarize the total on the document itself, and then you have to manually go in and split out that line item. So if you have,
and I know there's a few that I won't mention right now, but I know some are really good at that, and it's just so automated that
So if you have like a document that's 2, 3, 4 pages long with different line items, and you want to account for that in your QuickBooks, that's just as much as a manual process as entering it yourself.
And some of these other ones too use a lot of AI, so you really only have to do it once or twice, and then it'll automatically do it.
But for the flip side of that is that if you are receiving a bill, like somebody sends you an invoice from QuickBooks from QuickBooks, and you are receiving it in QuickBooks, if you're both on the same QuickBooks platform, QuickBooks Online versus QuickBooks Desktop, I'm referring to, and you're in the QuickBooks network, right? What QuickBooks will allow you to do is take that invoice and import it as a bill to you.
Oh, that's really cool.
So that is, I think, the best advantage of QuickBooks Bill Pay is when you have two QuickBooks users using the bill payment or QuickBooks payment services, they'll be able to streamline their bill entry process because the invoice just turns into a bill.
Yeah, but is it only if they send you an invoice? What if they send you a sales receipt?
If they send you a sales receipt, there's nothing to pay. Right? So
sorry. Okay.
You've already made the payment.
Have to be an invoice. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's got to be a payable type of document.
Yeah.
You were trying to foul me up. I know that.
No, I was
trick question.
Of, like, sometimes the things I receive, I'm like, oh, could that work? Oh, wait, no, those people send me a sales receipt. But you're right.
Yeah. And but if they did send you a receipt, you could then upload that as a receipt in QuickBooks and then turn that into an expense. But that would be a manual process. It wouldn't be just automatically. And I don't know if line items would come over or if it's going to homogenize the bill as a simple line item expense.
Yeah.
But the nice part is that it's something to streamline the process. And that's what QuickBooks is really trying to do is when you have two users on the same platform, they're doing one thing just to track their business, and that automates something in somebody else's business. That's a very hands-off type of thing, and their bookkeeping is getting done at the same time as they're paying their bills.
Yeah. So I'm seeing that they're definitely making improvements and making progress, and I just don't know if it's always going to be as good as some of the other things that are out there, but I'm definitely impressed with what they're doing.
It's pretty standard for these types of, especially the new offerings, that you'll get these new features or functions, and they're very homogenized and simple, I guess is the best way to describe it. And then you'll be able to branch out into a third party if you need more.
Yeah.
Like in your example of I need more because of the proposal type of things. For the majority of the companies that are on it, maybe they don't need that. This is likely an okay solution.
Yeah.
Next week, we are actually taking a week off because I have an event to go to next week. So we'll be doing a replay on the workshop. Join us not next week, but a week after, which is my birthday.
Oh, very cool.
In 2 weeks.
Have a birthday workshop Wednesday birthday
That's
celebration.
Right.
So that will be the 17th.
17th. Yep. Yeah. All right. And we will see you next time on the Workshop Wednesday. And we hope you all have a great day. And that wraps up another insightful episode of Workshop Wednesday, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and took away some valuable tips and strategies to enhance your bookkeeping practice. Remember, if you want to stay ahead in the world of bookkeeping and accounting, be sure to visit Schoolofbookkeeping.com. With a wide range of courses, resources, and expert guidance, you'll find everything you need to sharpen your skills and boost your career. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content every week. If you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover, reach out to us on social media or send us an email at support@schoolofbookkeeping.com. We love hearing from our listeners and are always looking for new ideas to explore. Thanks for tuning in to Workshop Wednesday. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep excelling in your bookkeeping journey. I'm Dan DeLong, and we'll see you next week.